Hey guys, I just wanted to check in before the podcast and let you guys know that we recorded this episode a few days before the LA fires broke out. I've been seeing all your comments asking if Bridget and I are okay. And yes, we're safe. We really appreciate you guys checking in. We've been busy over the past few days just making sure our families and our pets are safe. And our thoughts and prayers are with everyone affected by this devastating fire.
I'm Holly.
And I'm Bridget.
And this
is Girls Next Level.
Welcome back to Girls Next Level podcast. Even though we had a new episode last week, this is the first one we're recording back since our Christmas break. And I had the best break, I have to say.
Did you? Well, happy 2025.
Yeah. I got to be in Vegas for over 2 weeks, which is like, that never happens. And it's like, thank God, I just get to be home for a long stretch. The whole family was there. We had an amazing holiday. We had a really fun New Year's. And you came to Vegas too, right?
I was in Vegas a lot the end of this year.
Why didn't you post anything?
I hate posting.
Really?
I hate posting.
That is so funny.
I just feel like...
I'm like, did she even go? That's why I asked you the next day. I'm like, were you even here?
Yeah. No, so I was there for my dad's wedding. Then I went home for like Christmas and everything. And then back for New Year's. And it was the best. The best.
Were you at Resorts World?
Yes.
I was at Fontainebleau, so we were right across the street. I had the kids in my room. We had a kid party, and it was so fun. And if you get like a strip view room at the Fontainebleau, you get to see all the fireworks and the sphere. And it's really cute how they light the sphere up for New Year's. Like first they turn it into a disco ball, and then it's emoji face with like 2024 glasses and like confetti and stuff. But then they program the sphere emoji head to look like it's watching the fireworks, and it's super cute. And it was just so much fun. And it was like my perfect New Year's. It's exactly what I would have wanted.
Awesome. Well, we were at Resorts World, which is very close to where you were. And I think, and I'm trying to rack my brain to like see if I'm wrong somewhere, because something keeps telling me I'm wrong about this. But I think this was my first New Year's in Vegas, which seems weird.
It does seem weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, very, very. Even I don't believe it. Like there has to be a time.
There's a phantom memory somewhere.
Yes, that's what I feel like. Or maybe I was in Vegas for a New Year's, but I was like hosting a club event. And so I was stuck in a club, and I never really experienced a Vegas New Year's. I am blown away. It was my favorite New Year's ever.
Oh, good.
It's so incredible.
Hey, is this the year that our feelings on New Year's have changed and our feelings on January have changed? Have we manifested this? Because we've been asking for this for like 2 years.
I hope so, because it was incredible. But you guys, it was amazing. So like the strip shuts down, or at least a big portion of it does, and it turns into this huge party, which I did not go to, but I think would be really fun to walk around in.
I'm scared. I feel like that would be very New Year's Eve in Times Square where you have to wear a diaper.
Oh.
People wear diapers.
I know.
That is so strange to me. Like, is it really that cool to be there that you're willing to wear a diaper?
I do want to do Times Square once.
I heard you can like rent a table at Applebee's for like $2,000 or something ridiculous, so you can watch the ball drop from
Nick
Applebee's.
is anti. He's like, there's no way I'm spending $2,000 to sit in an Applebee's in Times Square on New Year's Eve.
If it was Olive Garden, I might do it.
Olive Garden's right there too. Maybe they've got a spot. I want to meet somebody who has like an apartment that overlooks the whole thing that I could go to a party at. So if you're out there and you're listening, please invite me one year. Well, I'm excited about 2025. I think that was a great way to start the new year.
But I have another story from my break that very much pertains to this podcast. So maybe a month or so ago, we were talking about, there was a scene in the show that she was in. We were talking about like our interactions with Pamela Anderson and how they were kind of awkward sometimes and whatever.
Yeah.
And after we talked about that, it got clipped and put in an article. I don't know if you ever saw it. I might have sent it to you. I don't remember if it was like Us Weekly or Radar or what it was. But it was like so embarrassing because the headline they had was, Holly Madison says Pam Anderson ignored her amid Hugh Hefner romance. And it's just like, I'm like, oh God, I hope she doesn't see this. And like, I read the article. And one thing I did like about that outlet is they did include everything I said on the topic in the podcast in the article. So if you read the article, you're like, oh, okay, I see what she's saying. You get the whole thing. And I was reading it and I'm like, if I was reading this about myself, I don't think I'd be offended. But still, you never know what people are like sensitive about or if they want to be talked about at all. So I was feeling kind of sheepish about it. And I went to a screening of her movie in Vegas over the break. And it was a really small screening. And she was there and she was doing a Q&A and stuff. And she was so incredibly kind. I'm like, I have to run back to the podcast and like tell everybody.
Wow. Like to you personally?
Yeah, she like gave me a shout out from the stage, which like I didn't even know she knew I was there. I didn't even know, like I would never even expect her to like know who I am at this point in my life. You know what I mean? Like obviously, you know, we met her as Hef's girlfriends and when the show was big because she was close to Hef, I'm sure she had some kind of idea. But it would never occur to me now that she would even know who I am. And she like fully gave me a shout out and then came over and said hi and like had a whole conversation after. And she was just so incredibly kind and nice and just it was completely unnecessary and I'm just like I have to go back and give an update. So the movie was really good too.
Oh, good.
Yeah, like I knew I was gonna like it because I love Vegas stuff and I love stuff with good art direction and I could tell it had that just from the trailer. But it was really good. It was really like I think a lot of people will be able to relate to it because there's a lot of themes about like being a parent and are you prioritizing work or parenting and just like being a woman and getting older and everybody kind of wanting to like shove you aside and maybe you can't do what you love anymore.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting and there were a lot of like funny moments and
yeah, I feel like I would love the movie.
No, you should see it. And there were a lot of dancers from Vegas that were in the movie, like playing the other dancers in the show and stuff. Like there were a lot of dancers from Dita's show and from like other shows I recognize. So it was really cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
Speaking of that same kind of like whole thing.
I know what you're going to say. I'm so excited.
I finally watched The Substance.
What did you think? I'm so excited for. Did you see
we had to do like a whole slumber party on it.
Yeah. Did you see Demi Moore's speech at the Golden Globes?
Yes.
That was so good too.
I cried.
I know.
I cried when she gave her speech at the Golden Globes. And I was so glad she won.
And I feel like there's something about her, even though she's older, that's like hotter now. And I don't know what it is. She just has such a lovely essence. And like her, I don't know if it's like the really long, shiny hair, because I love a long hair. But I don't know.
No, I think she looks amazing.
Yeah.
And better than ever, too. And I remember when we met her at the mansion, do you remember that when she came when we were filming House Bunny? She was there one day.
No, I don't think I got to meet her. Stop.
What?
Tell me.
She was just I mean, it's not like I hung out with her, but we were, she was just sitting kind of on the sidelines in like a producer's chair watching because one of her daughters was in it. And so she was just watching, but she came over and introduced herself and said hello. And like I was kind of lurking and stuff. I don't even know if I was waiting to go on to or if I was just kind of watching the filming or whatever. But I was just watching her interact with other people and stuff. And she was just really nice and having a good time and like fun. And yeah, like she was awesome then.
Yeah. I'm loving this renaissance of like women who are a little bit older still getting these exciting roles and being glamorous. And I'm like, oh, it's finally happening.
Yes.
So awesome.
All right.
So what we're doing today is we're talking about the second half of the Hearts of Fire episode, the Valentine's Mardi Gras episode. And we actually recorded this before the break, but then I was listening back to it and I'm like, I don't like it. We need to re-record it. And it's funny because I was trying to do a Q&A for my YouTube over the break and I didn't end up doing it. But one of the questions was, have you guys ever recorded a podcast and then decided not to air it? And yeah, there have been times, and I don't think it's happened for a long time.
Not for a long time.
It's happened like a couple times, but it was at the very beginning. Like I think maybe one of our prequel episodes, I listened back and I was like, I don't think we're giving what we want to give here. Let's go back and retell the story. And another one I remember specifically we redid was the episode 3, season 1, the Happy Birthday Kendra episode. And one of the reasons we did it is I just was listening back and I'm like, oh, I don't think this is giving what we want to give it either. And I think we could be more organized the way we tell the story. And it's hard when you get to the Kendra heavy episodes, I feel, because that was like the first one that was really all about her. And it's hard because contrary to popular belief, like I don't like talking about her. I feel like it's tricky. Like you want to tell the story and you want to tell the behind the scenes, but...
Well, and it's a catch-22. If we talk about it, we're haters. If we don't talk about it, we're haters for leaving her out. Like it's just like there's a no-win. There's a no-win in there.
It really is. And I think part of the reason the original recording of this episode was weak is like I don't have a ton of notes on it because the second half of this episode is very Kendra heavy. So it's like...
Yeah, because we were mentioning in the first half how it's crazy. Like, we're 8 minutes in, and this is like really the first big scene that Kendra's in. I mean, she's a little bit like, stitched in there a little bit, but like the first real scene is like 8 minutes in, which is really far when you're only on a 22-minute episode, period. Yeah. So, but that they really make up for it in the second half because it's pretty much all her storyline after that.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's hard. It's hard to like talk about it.
Yeah, so this episode, we talked about a little bit last week how we're kind of starting to see the signs of us going our separate ways a little bit. Like, I'm really immersed in the studio. You don't see it so much in this episode, but you're getting more into your career too. And the second half of this episode, you really see Kendra pulling away and I think maybe trying to show on screen what her spinoff could be. Like, this is my whole family and these are the people I interact with. These are my friends. Yeah, it's the Marty Girl party.
Yeah.
So this Marty Girl party in 2007 would actually be our last Marty Girl party because in an attempt to cut costs, Hef stopped having as many parties at the mansion. The first one he stopped having would be in 2007, his birthday, because he started celebrating his birthday in Vegas. And then they would also cut the Mardi Gras party, which in the early days, that would have really bugged me because I thought the parties were kind of high points in our life at the mansion. But at the end of this time, we are so busy with stuff and career stuff and all this fun stuff that not having a Mardi Gras party the last year we were there, like, I barely noticed it.
I don't even think I noticed.
Yeah.
I don't even think I noticed that it wasn't happening or cared. The Mardi Gras was not like one of the best parties. I mean, it was fun. Don't get me wrong. I had a great time at the Mardi Gras parties, but it was never one of the best parties or anything, or like, can't miss this one.
Yeah.
You know what? I did want to talk about, just before we go into this really quickly, a fun Mardi Gras that I went to before I was a girlfriend. So it had to be like, I want to say maybe it was 2002, but before, so I was coming up there, but I wasn't like a girlfriend yet. And I had to go by myself. I was going to go with Ray Manzella, and the last minute he got a date. I know, that's a shocker because people think we were dating, but we were not. So, like, he had a date.
That's so funny.
And, all right, fine. So I had to go by myself. And I wore this, I don't even know, the skimpiest outfit. It was nothing more than a bathing suit, I don't think.
Oh, wow.
Like a thong bathing suit. It was like a silver Mardi Gras showgirl outfit with like a...
No, I think I remember you because I thought your headdress was so cool.
Yeah, it had the big headdress with the beads coming off and the feathers and everything.
But this was like before we really knew each other.
Yeah, I did not know. I mean, I kind of knew people because I think I was coming up for an occasional fun in the sun or dinner and a movie. But like, I was definitely not in the group. And I found this group of girls. I couldn't tell you who anyone was now. But this fun group of girls. And we just stood there and like danced the entire night, like so much that even Ray Manzella had to comment on it the next day. He's like, you didn't sit down once. You were like dancing the whole night. What was that dance you were doing? I was like doing like this Brazilian cha-cha.
Yeah.
I don't even know what a Brazilian cha-cha is or if that exists, but like in my head, that's what I was doing the whole night. And I just had so much fun.
That's so funny you say that because I was going to parties for like a year before I moved in, and the first Mardi Gras party, it was actually called the Valentine's Party back then. It was in 2001. I went and I was like wearing like almost no makeup and like these leather pants. And I went with Ashley. She had a super cute outfit. And it was like that. Like we just danced the whole night and had so much fun. And there's this picture of me that I took with like one of the mean girls who was like there at the time. And I'm just like sweaty and like, almost no makeup and just kind of look like shit and stuff. And after Girls Next Door came out, all of a sudden that picture, but with the mean girl cropped out, started like circulating online. And I'm like, that fucking bitch put that out on purpose because I so look like shit in this picture. She's doing that on purpose.
Interesting. But it was so fun. It was so fun. And I had so much fun wearing that outfit, even though it was like next to nothing.
It was cute. I remember it. It was cute.
As we kick off this new year, I know that Holly and I have been talking all about manifesting and our vision boards and what we want to bring into our lives this next year. And one of the things that I'm doing is making it a habit to do something good for myself every day. And one of those things includes using OneSkin. Only OneSkin has the OS01 peptide, the first ingredient to target cellular senescence, a root cause of aging responsible for lines, wrinkles, and crepey skin. With OneSkin's groundbreaking approach, you're not just helping your skin look and feel younger and healthier on the surface, you're helping it behave better at the cellular level, so you'll see improvements now and in the future. Remember, it's the small habits that add up to big changes. So whether you're looking for a scientifically proven cleanser, moisturizer, sunscreen, or a whole new routine, we love the complete skin longevity regimen here. OneSkin can seriously transform your skin. Give it 12 weeks and see for yourself. Make 2025 the year you invest in habits that keep your skin healthier and help you look your best. Use code NEXTLEVEL for an exclusive 15% off at oneskin.co.
So I'm getting to be the age where I need to attack the crepey skin phenomenon on the ground floor. So I've been using OneSkin like crazy, and I recently just got the OneSkin travel pack because I've been traveling quite a bit, and nothing is better than having those perfect size, the face treatment, the eye treatment, the body treatment, all the good stuff. I totally love it. I've already noticed my skin looking and feeling more hydrated and plump. Founded and led by an all-woman team of skin longevity scientists, OneSkin is redefining the aging process with their proprietary OS01 peptide, the first ingredient proven to help skin look, feel, and behave like its younger self. Get 15% off with code NEXTLEVEL at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code NEXTLEVEL. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Invest in the health and longevity of your skin with OneSkin. Your future self will thank you. So where we left off in this episode is the very last part of like the first half, which the first half of the episode is very much me and you, romantic Valentine's Day. The second half is Kendra Party, Marty Gras. So we're going to Trader Vic's.
Yes.
So we're walking into Trader Vic's, and Kendra's talking about how people react to Hef. And
Yes.
some people are saying, oh, he's a pimp, or oh, that's weird, or whatever. And that reminds me, do you remember we used to regularly, or Hef would get invited to like Beverly Hills house parties semi-regularly, and we would go?
Yes.
Did you ever notice this? Because we never talked about it at the time, but it was something that always happened. When we walked into like a Beverly Hills house party, there would be a ton of older women there, and there would always be a group of women at every party who, when we walked in, would like start pointing and laughing and snickering, and maybe they were kind of pointing at Hef too. I don't know, but I always felt like it was very much at us.
Yeah.
Because we were getting the death glares, and they weren't being subtle about it. It was like straight up, like they wanted us to see that they thought we were a joke. And
It was like a ugh, and roll the eyes and very much like, please.
Like literally pointing and laughing and like the most blatant like mean girl-ism you could ever think of. And these were grown ass women, must have been in their 40s through their 60s.
Yeah.
And they just wanted to take our confidence down 100%.
Yeah. But I mean, it's true. Every time we went somewhere, whether it was a club that we went to every Wednesday or Friday, not at this point anymore, but had in the past for years, or a restaurant or an event, anything like that, it was always a spectacle. I mean, first of all, we have tons of security with us, and they're partying the way, and there's photographers, and there's a huge group of us and stuff. But it was just like, it was always like a partying of the way, gawking, yelling, pointing, whispering, like people every single time. Like you knew that was going to happen the second the door opened.
Yeah, but I felt like the only time we got, not that we never got negative reactions places, but the only type of parties I felt like we consistently felt really sheepish and out of place, or at least I did, and we're really getting the mean girl treatment, was like Beverly Hills house parties.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Woo, it was rough.
Do you remember, I was going to bring this up in an upcoming episode, when we do it, we're going to do a like kind of halfway point, like catch up thing. And I was going to sort of bring this up then, but I'll just kind of bring it up now too, since you're bringing up Hollywood parties. Do you remember, it's coming up, it happens, I actually looked in our scrapbooks, I think it happens in I don't think it happens in February. I think it's not till July of 2007, like where we are in the timeline here. But we get invited because the Beckhams are moving to LA. Do you remember this?
Oh my gosh. Not really. What was it?
Okay, so Victoria Beckham and they're moving to LA from London, obviously, or wherever they lived over there. And there's going to be a big party, and like Will Smith and people like that are like throwing the party, and we got invited, and we were all excited. Like this was like a huge Hollywood A-list Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes. I think it was Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes and Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, whatever, were hosting the event. And we were all excited because it's like a big deal, to go to that. And then we got disinvited.
Oh, that's why I don't remember it. I'm trying to rack my brain. Like, what was this party? Was I sick?
No, we got disinvited. We got invited and then disinvited.
I wonder who disinvited us.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I constantly have to remind people, too, that, like, Hollywood kind of looks down on Playboy, too. Like, and I feel like people don't
And reality shows.
Yeah.
So it was a double whammy. Like, oh, there's the Playboy guy with all the girls. Oh, and they're doing a reality show. Blah.
Yeah, totally.
Like, that's D-list.
I know.
So when people are like, oh, you're famous, I'm like, well, I guess it's relative. You
Yeah,
know, like,
every generation there's like a new thing people look down on. Like probably back in the day, movie people looked down on TV people.
Yes, no, that was in our time frame still.
Wow.
Definitely. Like there was a time frame like early in our days though where movie people would not do TV and were like those TV actors were like beneath them.
And then in our era, it was definitely scripted, looked down on reality so hard.
Even still, I think.
Yeah, still to an extent for sure. But I feel like now it's like traditional celebrities look down on influencers and are really resentful toward influencers. Yes. So it's every generation has something.
Yeah. So what are the influencers going to look down on and feel like they're being snubbed and kicked out for?
Oh, I mean, who knows what the next thing is going to be?
What's next? Because we got to get involved in whatever's next.
Yeah, I don't even know what the next thing would be. Because to me, like, not to shit on influencers, like, I love doing stuff online too. And I think in a lot of ways it takes a lot of, like, persistence and talent to break through sometimes. But I feel like that's already so do it yourself.
Yes.
That I don't know what the more watered down version of that would be. Like, I can't imagine it.
Yeah, I can't either.
We'll see. So back to Trader Vic's. I think Kendra's hair looks really pretty.
Oh, yeah, I think it looks cute.
Yeah.
I think it was from a shoot. I feel like
it looks
that was
kind of like calendar hair.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is kind of another scene where, like, I love it that we're able to do this on this show. Just show a scene that's just kind of fun and silly and isn't like super plot driven or super drama. Although they kind of try to make a little bit of drama because they try to make it look like I'm annoyed with Allison because her boob keeps popping out. She's wearing one of those like early 2000s dresses. It's hard to describe, but it has a specific cut. And it was hard to like keep it on your shoulder. And it was made out of this kind of like spandex blend material. It was kind of like a sky dress, but it wasn't a sky dress. And like her boob keeps popping out because like the shoulder keeps coming off, and then she gets it on, and then the other side falls off, and everybody's laughing. But then they cut to me resting bitch face, and like I don't care. Like I'm sure I thought that was as funny as everybody else did. Like I wasn't like dogging Allison.
Well, clearly she was doing it on purpose to get Hef's attention.
Oh yeah,
just kidding. She was clearly not doing it on purpose. Not even something Allison would do.
And then in commentary, I say, I don't freak out on Valentine's Day or put a lot of pressure on Hef. And I'm saying this because I'm still digging my heels in and trying to make this the opposite of what the anniversary episode was.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting, too, that they put in Hef asking if all of these girls will be his Valentine. But I feel like it's a fun scene with all the fun drinks and the food.
Very visual.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back to the house, and this couldn't have been on the same day, right?
It was definitely not the same day at all.
And I'm wearing the Playboy Cupid Halloween costume.
Yes.
And before we go downstairs...
Which is so cute, by the way.
I do love that outfit.
Hef has some special gifts for you.
Yeah, which
privately.
is really sweet and cute. And I think it was the first year he did that. But I notice I'm like rushing through it on the scene. I'm like, oh, cute. Okay, let's go downstairs. Because I just don't want to give the show any emotion. I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want this to turn into the anniversary episode again. So I'm just like, get me out of here. Kind of, let's go downstairs, you know?
Yeah. I didn't realize that that's what you were doing. I just figured maybe time was cutting short or whatever. And that's why it was kind of a quick scene. But I think it's sweet that he got you something special. And
yeah, super cute.
Oh, in commentary, we're talking about Hef has like the red satin sheets on.
Oh, yeah, because he used those for Valentine's and Christmas instead of black.
And he has the red pajamas on. It's just departure from the norm. It's just kind of cool.
And the dining room was decorated super cute. It reminds me of your birthday party in the pilot with like all the balloons on the ceiling and all the, you know, accoutrements everywhere.
Yeah, in case you guys don't remember, there was like a million balloons all over the ceiling, the rose petals all over the tables, candles lit everywhere, confetti, like the whole thing.
We exchanged some gifts. I give you a locket with Winnie's picture in it.
So cute.
And I give you guys sock bouquets, which I used to sell tube socks on my website. And they came up with the idea at the website of doing like a bouquet. And it was really cute.
It is so cute. Like it's one of my favorite gifts of all time. Like it's one of the most, I shouldn't say favorite because we got so many cool things, but it's one of the most memorable things. Like I thought that was so cool.
It was a really cute idea.
With all the tissue paper and the bow with all the different colored socks and everything. It's so cute. And I was telling our merch people that we should offer those for Valentine's Day sock bouquets. I wish too. Who knows? We don't know if it'll make it or not.
Yeah.
We're trying.
And speaking of tissue paper, the tissue paper gets caught in a candle and catches fire. And it's so funny because Kendra's the only one who has like a big reaction, which I don't remember what I thought about that in the moment. But watching the episode, I'm like, she's the only one having a reasonable reaction. Like it's this, we're in this big expensive dining room with an expensive table and shit's catching on fire. And everybody else is just kind of like, well.
When it comes to grocery shopping and meal planning, I have a problem. And that problem is I run out of ideas and I keep cooking the same things all the time. But that's all changed thanks to Hungry Root. It's the easiest way to eat healthy and rotate up my recipes. Hungry Root is like having a personal shopper / chef that helps you curate all these amazing recipes. And not only do they help you curate the recipes, but all the ingredients that you need to go in them. They take care of the weekly grocery shopping, recommending healthy groceries and meals tailored to your taste, nutrition preferences, and health goals. They especially make it easy if you have diet or health goals like anti-inflammatory diets, gut-friendly, gluten-free, dairy-free, high protein, and so many more. The best part, the shopping, the planning, the cooking, the food, it really can be simple and stress-free. You just tell them about your goals and your preferences, and they'll fill your cart with personalized recommendations that get smarter as they learn more about what you like and what you don't like. I received so much good stuff this time. I got cheesy French onion chicken with broccoli, garlicky chicken breast and sweet potatoes, honey garlic beef with broccoli, and garlicky ground beef pita pockets. Oh, and a pepperoni pizza and Caesar salad. Can you tell I like garlic? Plus, I got a bunch of fun snacks, too, like a salami and cheese snack pack. Oh, and I love the pickles. I got chip cut dill pickles. It's just a snack, but I love them.
You are going to love Hungry Root as much as I do. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/nextlevel and use code NEXTLEVEL. That's hungryroot.com/nextlevel, code NEXTLEVEL to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. hungryroot.com/nextlevel, code NEXTLEVEL.
See, I feel like she's an overreactor, panicker, and like I react, like I have my hands full, but I grab the tissue paper and I start folding it onto itself, but my hands are full, so then one of the butlers, or I actually think it's the cameraman, not the cameraman from that's filming us, but the guy that's just taking pictures, like for the butlers, like reaches in and like starts patting it out. But yeah, I mean, it is scary to see it, and but there's like different reactions. There's like Kendra who panics. There's me that stays calm and tries to like put it out, and then there's you and Hef that kind of are like,
I feel like we didn't really see it until like the very end or something.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
it was on
weird.
My side of the table. It was my tissue paper that, or I think it was anyway, that got caught on the candle.
Yeah, we were very oblivious. I like that they're playing like kind of silent movie, like Keystone Cop music in the background.
I mean, Kendra's ready to bolt, go running out of the house.
I know.
I'm like,
it's so
wow.
funny. And of course, this is why the episode is called Hearts of Fire. Because there was that fire. But you know what's weird is like sometimes there's things that are different about the episode when it aired, like the order they air in or the title, and then the DVD is different for some reason.
Yes.
So I always go back to, online to see like the release dates because that's the order that we talk about the episodes in. Sometimes it gets mixed up on the DVDs for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But when this episode first aired, it was called Heart to Heart to Heart. And then somewhere they changed it to Hearts of Fire.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
One thing I noticed in this scene, not the scene before, but this scene, is that Kendra's hair looks a little bit darker.
Oh.
And I put it in my notes, and I think I'm right that she darkened it because, well, one, I mean, it just looks darker, but two, I think her mom says something about it later in this episode, and I'll point it out when we get to it.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think this could have been the time where she started working with her agent that she would be with during her first spinoff because, like we've mentioned before, that she had a manager in San Diego. But she also got this agent who was really, really good at like getting her tabloid covers and always keeping her in the media and stuff. And I feel like this might have been the time she started working with him.
I think so.
Because he's told me before that it was like his idea for her to dye her hair a little bit darker to like change her image and stuff like that. So I feel like this is probably when it's happening. And they're probably, I would assume, kind of devising a plan for her. Like, we need to break you out of this show.
Yeah.
And that's why we're getting like the second half of this episode is like all about her family. Like, I'm sure her agent is helping her brainstorm like who else would be on your show.
Yeah.
We need to get those characters in. And just so you guys know, we're not talking shit. Like, there's nothing wrong with planning for your future, wanting to do any of this. But I feel like people think anytime Kendra's name is in my mouth, I'm talking shit. So I just have to clarify.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, Bridget's also taking classes.
Well, the one thing I will say is wrong with it is that she does it. She gets this manager or agent, I should say, secretively. Because we weren't allowed
to have those.
And we weren't allowed to do this. And so that's where it becomes kind of nefarious in my mind. Like, okay, so she's doing this all under the table. They find out she's doing it because how can you not?
Yeah.
And then they still let her do it, which I'm not saying they shouldn't let her do it, but then, okay, fine. But then the rest of us need to do it too. Because, and I'll talk about this more at our halfway check-in point, but in a couple of months, I'm going to have a meeting with an agent too. Because I'm like, okay, fine. Then I'm going to have an agent too.
Yeah.
But I feel like I couldn't tell Playboy.
100%.
Because I have to get it first and then be like, oh, by the way, I have an agent.
Yeah. Because you don't want them cock blocking you. Because I wouldn't have put it past somebody at Playboy to call up any agents you're meeting with and be like, hey, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
You can't handle her. Because they would do shit like that.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, so the next scene, Mardi Gras setup. And in commentary, we talk about how much we hate the Mardi Gras decorations.
Oh my God, you guys, they were so bad.
So bad.
Remember in grade school when you would walk into your kindergarten class and it's Christmas and they would have like a cardboard Santa on the wall?
Like just cutouts.
That's what these were. They were like cardboard cutouts of like weird Mardi Gras faces that were very creepy.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't up to Playboy's usual standard. It was so weird.
They were so bad.
Bizarre.
And if we would have continued having this party, we would have had to step in and be like,
I think so. We'd had it.
We need to fix this. Yeah, so then they're putting up the tent. And we talked about this before too, but we would love, especially for this party, we would have loved if they would have tented off. There was this like little balcony off of Hef's bedroom, and it would have been amazing. And usually the tent stopped kind of like right there, but it would have been amazing if they like tented off that and we could have gone out to that balcony and throw beads.
Because we love to do it inside. Like after we went upstairs, we would go and like, because there would be like kind of these balcony overlooks on the second story, and we would throw beads from there. But it would have been so fun to do it outside from that other balcony too.
Yeah, it would have been. Okay, so I want to talk about the food because they do this whole thing where they show some of the food preparation, and I know a lot of you are into the food, as am I. But they show them making the chocolate dipped strawberries, and I sort of forgot about this. This was a staple at every party. And then they show them like doing the seafood and the hors d'oeuvres and the cheese buffet. They said that there's 3 different buffets out there. One's a whole cheese buffet, which I don't even remember the cheese buffet, but now I'm like, damn, I want the cheese buffet.
I feel like I'm a little bit of a cheese connoisseur because thanks to the mansion. Because even like before I lived there, like I would go to the cheese buffet and like try different cheeses and stuff. And the chefs who were serving it were always like super informative about like what cheese this was and stuff like that.
I remember kind of seeing cheese on the buffet, but I just don't remember ever like really taking advantage of it. Let's put it that way.
Right now on our Patreon, we're doing a review of this book called Dark Secrets of Playboy, which is the juiciest Playboy memoir, in my opinion, that's ever been written, like even more dirt than my book has. And one of the things he says in there, because he worked at the mansion from like 1978 through like the early 80s, and people would do so much coke, they would have these lavish buffets at all the parties, just like they did in our era. But he said nobody would eat anything because everybody was on coke.
That's crazy.
I know. So he said that it was staff bringing the food home. Like people just wouldn't touch the food.
He said there was like hundreds of pounds of like filet mignon and stuff that no one even touched, and like all the seafood stuff and everything, so everyone just take all of that stuff home. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of food at night.
I know, it's so
Which
crazy.
Good for them.
I know.
At least it didn't go to waste, or hopefully it didn't. But yeah. And then also it shows kind of like what else is sort of going on at this time, because Kendra's talking about how it's sort of her favorite time of the year. And also around the same time is always Super Bowl. And I don't know, do they ever show a Super Bowl party at the mansion?
I don't think so. Well, you know what? I bet they do in season 5, because there's a whole Super Bowl episode where we go to a Super Bowl party, but I'm sure they kind of show what we usually do with the game.
And then one thing they show here, and it's just for a blip, but they show a picture of Hef and I taking a photo. I should say they show video of a picture that Hef and I are taking in front of this inflatable that I got him. And I remember every year that was part of my present to him. I would get him this inflatable like Valentine's thing, like one of those things that usually go outside, but we would put it in the Great Hall. And the first year it was a giant teddy bear, but then it went missing because I was just going to put that one back up again. And so then I got him, this time it was conversation hearts, and I do not have these pictures.
Well, I feel like his personal photographer was kind of slacking toward the end, because I have less and less pictures as time goes by, which sucks because I have every second of the day documented through the Mean Girls era. But then when things were actually good, sometimes I have a hard time finding pictures of stuff, and that sucks. It should be opposite.
I think 2 things were happening. I think she was slacking because things were super busy and she was just slacking. And then 2, I think that a lot of things didn't get photographed, although this particular thing did. But I think a lot of things didn't because they're like, they're filming it.
Yeah, which is interesting because Hef was so into his scrapbook, you'd think he'd want to make sure there were still photos being taken as well. But you're right, like even in season 1, I was surprised that we don't have any photos from like our luncheon with Barbie. Like you'd think this is Hef's reunion with an old flame. You'd think he'd want pictures, but I guess they just felt like, oh, well, we're filming it. So that's the documentation we need.
Oh my goodness, the holidays are over, and now it's time to look at the new year with full mental clarity. Enhance your sober January and embrace CBD Awareness Month with VIA to experience the powerful benefits of hemp without the high. Trusted by over 500,000 happy customers, VIA is the Swiss Army knife of wellness, dedicated to harnessing the natural benefits of hemp to create high-quality wellness products. VIA's collection of THC-free products combines minor cannabinoids like CBD, CBG, and CBN with botanical supplements for targeted effects you can actually feel. Whether you're looking to improve your sleep, focus, or relief, VIA has something for you. VIA is also well-renowned for their award-winning THC and THC-free gummies and vapes, THCA flower, soothing topicals, and calming drops, all crafted with the highest quality hemp sourced from trusted, independently owned American farms. And the best part? VIA legally ships to nearly all states in the U.S. in discreet packaging directly to your door with a worry-free guarantee, no medical card required. So if you're 21 plus, check out our link to VIA's website, link in our description, and use code NEXTLEVEL for 15% off. And if you're new to VIA, get a free gift of your choice.
I've been loving the Via gummies. They come in so many amazing, delicious flavors. Dreams Blueberry Lemon is my favorite right now. And I've loved using them because they get me really relaxed before bed because muscle recovery and my fitness routine is really important to me. So maximizing my sleep and everything like that is so important. And Via's been part of my journey with that. So I absolutely love it. If you're 21 plus, check out the link to Via in our description and use the code NEXTLEVEL to receive 15% off. And if you're new to Via, get a free gift of your choice. After you purchase, they ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. This year, enhance your everyday with Via.
All right, next scene.
So we're in the med room and Kendra's getting her makeup done with Steven. And as I'm watching this, my first thought was, what is she getting ready for? Because it's a party, but usually you see us getting ready together and it's just her in the med room.
It's just her in the med room, and she makes a comment that Steven, she said, I had the wonderful makeup artist, Steven, and she emphasizes it, makeup artist, come to do my hair and makeup. And it's like,
yeah, I noticed that
what?
too. But I think that's part of the whole trying to seed, this is her crew, this is who she would have a spinoff with. Because later she says something about like, my friends.
Yes,
too.
yes. So she's separating herself by getting ready down in the med room. And one of the reasons she's doing that is because Steven is going to do her mom's makeup too.
Uh-huh.
So I think maybe she just thought maybe her mom and both of them shouldn't be getting ready up in my room. I don't know if that was even discussed or she just decided it on her own and decided to get a separate makeup artist than who we would normally use. I mean, not that we didn't normally use Steven, but usually I think for a party like that, it would be one of the Playboy makeup artists would, unless they were busy or whatever. Yeah. So, and I can't remember if she was busy or she did mine and then, or if Steven came up and did mine later. But the possessiveness and the wanting to get ready separately is very interesting here.
Yeah, it seems pretty deliberate and it seems like it's like a plan. Like, let's seed that this is my world so I can like break off.
Yeah. But Colin is coming to the party and he's just turned 18. So I guess it's the first party. And I don't really know if it's the first party he's ever been to or if it's the first one he can legally go to. But he's coming. So Patty and Colin come flying up. And this is when Kendra says her and her friends are going to find him a girl. And I'm going to get my brother laid. And Steven just laughs.
And Destiny's back. We haven't seen her in a hot minute.
So then her mom comes up and Kendra asks her, do you like my hair color?
Oh, yeah. It's the big change.
In my notes, I wrote, I thought so. Okay, so then the next scene shows me going downtown to Revamp. Revamp is a store that does like vintage reproductions of outfits and everything. And the woman who is the creator and owner of it is Anne Marie. And I know her for a while, and she does trapeze, and she's like so much fun. Like we have so many similarities and everything. And she had done a lot of my outfits at this time. It wasn't that I didn't like trashy still, but sometimes you just want to get away from that same look all the time because they definitely have like a style and a look, and I wanted something more vintage. And this particular outfit that I'm getting made is a replica of something that Gypsy Rose Lee wore in a movie that we had watched at some point recently from here.
Is Gypsy Rose Blanchard now more famous than Gypsy Rose Lee?
I mean, well, probably, because I don't think a lot of people know who Gypsy Rose Lee is.
Yeah, she was one of the first famous burlesque stars. Like there were like one or two at the time who were really famous. She grew up in vaudeville. Her sister was a performer. And actually, whatever happened to Baby Jane, those two characters are based on her and her sister, which is crazy. And I think Gypsy Rose Blanchard is named after her.
Probably. I would assume too.
Yeah.
But this outfit was definitely designed after one, and I'll put a photo on our Patreon of it too. Yeah, so Anne Marie comes over and she has that outfit hanging on the rack. It looks amazing. I'm excited about it. And she wants me to try it on before I go. And I put it on and she claps and says, yay, they fit, like the bottoms. And I feel like the show left this in on purpose to make it look like I was barely going to fit into this tiny costume. I mean, maybe I'm being paranoid, but the reason she's clapping and like so excited that I fit into them, these shorts were custom made for me. So, of course, I'm going to fit into them. But the reason she was worried is because she sewed on these appliques that I brought her so that they would be all like rhinestoned and everything. And when you sew on appliques to a stretchy Lycra, it takes the stretch out of them. So even if they fit you, once you sew things onto them, they don't have the stretch anymore. So were they going to like go on? And they did.
I don't like that they did that.
Right. But they're definitely doing that.
So then the next scene, we're getting the origin story again.
I mean, like how many times?
Okay, so what we're talking about is like Kendra's origin story, like Hef meeting her when she was a painted lady. And for some reason, they rerun that scene over and over in this series.
But I just feel like it's a story that is already been told. It's already been told probably more than once on the show. And why are we revisiting it again?
I don't know. It's just not a creative choice at this point.
And they try to make it, and I think what bothers me especially about this time too, is that they try and make it look like it's just something that like Hef and Kendra are going to go do together, like as a nostalgia thing. But it's not. We're all down there. Destiny's down there. There's other randoms
all of a
down
sudden
there with
we're down
us.
there, yeah.
Yeah, everybody's down there doing it. So it wasn't just like them. But they try to make it look like that at first.
Totally, it's weird. And then the painted ladies at this party have amazing bodies.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
And I feel bad because they are very close up on them. And like...
Yeah, and I don't think any of them probably knew that they were going to be on the DVD naked. They probably thought, oh, okay, we agreed to this job and now we kind of have to be filmed.
Yeah.
But it's going to be on E, so it's going to be blurred. Like maybe by the time they're in this season, people would kind of know because we've had DVDs come out, but maybe not. They probably weren't told if we weren't told.
No, they definitely weren't told. They have to tell the whole story. Oh, I was standing here. You were here.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. And I feel like even Mark is like, are we doing this again?
Yeah.
Like the look on his face is sort of like, doesn't everybody know this?
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but it felt like that to me.
You guys know that I'm really big on goals, vision boards, New Year's resolutions, all those things. And something I have on my vision board every year is a big fat financial section. It's really important to me to make money, save money, and invest money. And one thing I've been doing for a while now, I mean, probably like 5 years or so, is I've been using Acorns, and it's so easy. So I was super, super thrilled when Acorns came on as a sponsor. Acorns is sponsoring this episode, and Acorns makes it easy to start automatically saving and investing so your money has a chance to grow for you, your kids, and your retirement. You don't need to be an expert. Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that fits you and your money goals. You don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you invest with the spare money you've got right now. You can start with $5 or even just your spare change. So the way I have my Acorns set up is everything I spend out of my checking account, they round up to the nearest dollar and they take those extra pennies and they start investing for me. So it's super exciting, it's super easy, and it's so low effort on my part, which I love. Head to acorns.com/nextlevel or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 1 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors LLC and SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/nextlevel.
So then we're back in my room, but it's clearly earlier in the day than because it's just all out of order. The assistant is doing my hair. Laurent comes in. You're sitting on my bed sewing last minute rhinestones on your costume.
Yeah, I come in and say I didn't have time to work on my costume, so I'm doing it very last minute. And what I wanted to do is there was a costume Marilyn Monroe was supposed to wear for Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. And it was very skimpy. It just was kind of like a nude fishnet type outfit with a bunch of diamond pieces over it. But then her nude calendar came out, or people caught wind that it was her, and it was a scandal. So they're like, we have to put her in a dress. But I wanted my costume was kind of inspired by that. Like I didn't have the big like rhinestone pieces to go over it, but it was kind of based on the undergarment. But the crazy thing is like a couple years later, they were having an auction of Marilyn Monroe's stuff, and I got to model it for a magazine. So I got to wear the actual one.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy, yeah.
That's amazing. I thought that costume was gorgeous, even if it was a pared down version of what you wanted. Like, I thought it was amazing.
Thank you. Because I'm kind of playing it down like, oh, this isn't great. I didn't have time to work on it. But everybody's being like very kind to each other. All three of us were all like complimenting each other's outfits and stuff.
Yeah. Kendra walks in and says that my outfit's her favorite one of all of them, which is crazy. So I've worn a lot of crazy shit.
And part of the reason I didn't have time to work on my costume is we're just getting so busy. Like, I'm full-time at the studio now. Like, it doesn't say on the episode why I'm busy, but it's because I'm full-time at the studio now. And it's getting to the point, like we said last week with Domino's, where we're so busy with other stuff, it's like we almost don't have time for, like, the basic stuff at the mansion anymore.
Speaking of Domino's, I saw somebody ask, if you guys were too tired or didn't feel like playing, could you just like skip out on Domino's? And the answer is no.
He would have been so pissed.
He would have been pouty. I mean, it would have been, it's not even worth it.
Yeah, no.
You cannot.
Yeah, there's no way.
Cannot get out. He would have like thrown a tantrum.
You would have had to be on your deathbed.
Yeah.
Like, no.
And even then, he would be like, well, maybe we could set up a table over your bed and we can still play right here. Like, he would have found a way. Let's see. So outside the mansion, sun is setting. They show Steven is in there doing Patty's makeup. And she's talking about wanting to get surgery.
Yeah. So it would only be a few months later where she's actually getting the surgery because it was like right before A Midsummer Night's Dream.
So they're planting the seed.
Yeah.
here.
So they're already planting the seed that like Kendra's mom's going to get all this surgery.
And I'm curious. I wonder if they're planting the seed because they want the show to cover this and follow it, or if they are planting the seed because the show is already going to be doing this for her.
That's a really good question. My first instinct was Patty's hinting around. Like, she's dropping this on camera on purpose because she wants the show to kind of come in and like help out with it.
That's what I think too.
But it would be happening so soon because this was February, Mardi Gras, and she's recovered by the time it's Midsummer's in August. So it would only be a few months away, but it doesn't take that long to schedule plastic surgery, I guess. Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a hint. Like, let's do, because this was the time that like The Swan was on TV. So I think, you know.
I forgot about that show.
Yeah.
And that filmed right down the street too, I think.
Yeah.
One of the mansions down the street.
I'm sure you guys know because if you're familiar with Girls Next Door, you're probably familiar with other stuff of that time. But The Swan was this reality show where they would take women and put them in a house and they'd all be given a ton of like head to toe plastic surgery, makeover, hair, makeup, all the stuff. And they weren't allowed to see a mirror for like 2 months or however long it took to recover. And then they were revealed at the end.
Crazy.
Insanity.
I totally forgot about that show.
Yeah.
And then Hef comes in and says, I hear rumors that you're going to get a little nip tuck. So if that's the case, maybe we already do know it's going to be for the show.
And they're seeding it.
Yeah.
It shows me getting ready in the vanity, and there's a still photo from this scene that circulates online a lot. And you can see I have this like, I'm in the vanity, but I have this like makeup mirror in front of me. And on the other, and it's double-sided. And on the other side of the makeup mirror, you can see the reflection of a Playboy eyeshadow case, like a pink Playboy eyeshadow case. And you can see like streaks of light reflecting off of it, but people think it's lines of Coke.
Are you serious?
Like, first of all, I didn't do drugs, but I would never have been doing Coke like openly anywhere Hef could see it. He would have been so pissed. I would never have done it in front of the cameras. Like, they would have never risked catching that because E would have been like, we can't use that footage. Like, that would have been the hugest no. So, no, it was just light reflecting. It was not lines of Coke.
But if, like, people only knew how ridiculous that is because, like, we never did a thing.
No.
A thing.
Weed and alcohol, that was it.
Yeah. And even weed was rare.
Yeah. You're
Super
right.
rare. Alcohol was like the main thing, like nothing.
Yeah.
We were like the biggest, I don't know if you want to call that nerds
Goody
or
two-shoes,
whatever,
yeah.
but like, yeah, goody two-shoe type. Like we never did anything. So then it kind of cuts back to my room. It's just everybody doing their final touches. Laurent's finishing up my hair. Kendra has a friend helping her put on her corset. I guess one other thing I was going to say here was that you said that we were talking about like complimenting each other's outfits and all that kind of stuff. And you say that your favorite outfit of mine is the baby New Year's outfit.
Yeah, I thought that was really cute and creative.
Which I think is funny. And I just had somebody on my Ghost Bunny show. She's a writer and does, other things besides ghosts and stuff like that. But she is doing like the history. She writes for History Channel and stuff like that. And she was just doing a thing about the origin and history of the New Year's baby. And I'm like, oh, that's so good.
And how nobody knows what it is anymore.
Yeah, nobody knows about it anymore. So I was like telling her my story of doing that. And people were like, why is she dressed like a baby for New Year's?
At the time, people thought that? Or like after the fact?
No, after the fact, like messages I get from people, like, why would she be dressed like a baby for New Year's?
Because back then people knew what Baby New Year was.
Yeah,
they
I
knew
feel like they got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mardi Gras music starts playing. The arrivals are happening.
I have a question, though. Where is Bill Maher, the fourth girl next door?
Right.
He's missing in action this party for the first time.
I just want to say, too, and this might not sound like any big deal to everybody, but we come down out of order. They always film us coming down the stairs, and usually there's a very specific order to this. Usually it would be Kendra first, me next, Holly next, then Hef. And it's kind of like that order. It's a hierarchy. Everything's a hierarchy at the mansion. But this time, you come down first, Kendra is second, I'm last, and then Hef.
Yeah, I think that's speaking to our confidence level and just the fact that we know nobody's going to step on anybody's toes. And, we're all good with it because back in the Mean Girls days, you would have never stepped out of line. Like, I felt like if I stepped out of line for a second, somebody was going to snake my spot. Or if somebody did snake your spot, or if you accidentally snaked somebody else's spot, it was the biggest offense.
Yes.
So the fact that we just don't give a shit and we're coming downstairs in whatever order, I think just speaks to like how chill everybody was at the time and how our confidence had grown.
Yeah. I mean, I know that seeing that is a big deal. I feel like anybody watching or listening is going to be like,
they'd be
what?
Like, huh? Yeah.
But it's a big deal. It's little things like that make like a big deal. And it really, like you said, says a lot about how we're all getting along and how we're feeling at the time. And we're feeling good and we're feeling confident and we like each other at this point.
Mm-hmm. So the big gag of the Mardi Gras party is Kendra and her friends trying to find a date for Colin. And I'm wondering, the way it's cut, he could have been completely unaware of this the whole time, and this just been something that was happening, Kendra's narrating and the show's putting together, because they do it in this cute cutaway way where they're like freeze on Colin and they'll be like the mark.
Yeah.
And they freeze on Kendra Destiny, they'll be like the agents. And then they'll be like, so it's just very cute and cartoony. And they show him talking to a really cute girl. I don't know who she is, but she's somebody really cute. And it was just a very cute scene.
Yeah. I like all that little editing and cutting and
I think
stuff.
It's really cute.
And there was like kind of like, I don't know if it's Bond style music, but very like, agent-y style music in the background, which I think is fun.
Secret mission.
Another thing they showed at the beginning of the scene that we should just mention, because I feel like they don't usually show it, is we take pictures up in Hef's room before we'd even go down.
Yeah.
On our own, like little disposable cameras and stuff. But we would all meet in Hef's room first and then take pictures, and like we would take turns taking pictures of each other. So I would take pictures of Holly, Kendra, and Hef, and then we would switch, and everybody would get their group photos together and stuff. And I feel like it's something that we would do it before every single party, but no one really knows that happened.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It was a little tradition that never got covered.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Colin trying to find a girl. And then also, so Kendra's working double time because she's trying to find a man for her mom as well.
And she says anyone but All the Way Ray.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think All the Way Ray is one of the more eligible people that would go up there, though.
Do you?
Yeah. Because who else?
I mean, now that I'm hearing all these stories about Ray, I'm like, I don't know anymore.
We needed a new girl Friday. This is all Patreon talk, guys. So if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Who the fuck showed up to the Mardi Gras party dressed as the plague doctor?
Right? Well, I could be wrong on this, but I thought it was Miss Batty.
That does ring a bell. Miss Batty, for those who don't know, was like an older woman who was like in Hef's movie night friends circle. But I think you're right. That does ring a bell. But what does the plague doctor have to do with Mardi Gras? Is there Mardi Gras plague doctor lore that I don't know? If anybody's from New Orleans, let me know in the comments.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It is interesting.
That's all I have before best and worst. So what was your best and what would you change about this episode? Best and worst.
My worst is the origin story could be cut.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I didn't really have bad things about this episode too much. I mean, again, they try and fat shame me a little bit, but I think the worst for me is just that. And I don't like the little digs of like, this is my hairdresser and my friends and stuff. And I just feel like there's a whole plan going on that we aren't involved in and didn't know about until after. So like we don't see all this until it's about to come out. We see a rough cut before it's actually out, but like not till way, way, way later when things are already progressed. So we don't know that things are happening right now during this.
What was your best?
Oh, my best is, I mean, the cute pet stuff at the beginning. I think the Valentine's Day dinner and gift exchange is really cute. And I really love all three of our outfits.
Yeah. I think worst for me is just seeing how uncomfortable I am in the first half of this episode. I can tell I'm just like this, trying to not make it like the anniversary episode. And maybe I needed to be. Maybe it would have turned out like the anniversary episode if I wasn't on guard. So I can't really say I would change that, but I don't love seeing it, you know?
Yeah.
Best, I think, is I love the visuals of this episode. I love all our Mardi Gras outfits. I love seeing the dogs. I love what the dining room looks like. It's like that Valentine's aesthetic that I love.
Yeah.
I love seeing Trader Vic's. So this is a very colorful, quintessential Girls Next Door. Like, I love the eye candy of it all episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will be back next week with a new episode. If you'd like more content, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/girlsnextlevel. Check out our merch at girlsnextlevel.shop, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.